Hello everyone, it is the Vibe Kage here. I'm turning on my brightness so I can see my phone. I'm outside. I'm gonna go run some errands, so prepare to join me on a trip. Now, it is not on our favorite rocket ship because I do not, or will not ever watch Little Einsteins. I don't know what the fuck the thing was with it. The song is annoying as hell to me. I always hear it, and I'm like, that's from that one show. I don't get it. Just nah. But anyway, what if Deku became a Jujutsu sorcerer? In the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, the characters of My Hero Academia exist, just not with their quirks. In other words, they too are quirkless bastards because quirks don't exist. Everyone's a quirkless bastard. But not everyone, is powerless. There are those who are Jujutsu sorcerers. And Izuku, you see, just to let you know, he's not related to any clans, any family things. Nothing really special about Izuku, except the fact that he was born with a unique mutation. If you check the thumbnail, you would have read that, Izuku kinda is born with this unique ability to fuse with Shikigami, and he can kinda actually eat cursed spirits. What? Okay, here's what's gonna kinda happen. You see, in this timeline, the whole Hasashi leaving Inko, it's changed into a slightly more darker tone, where, Hasashi and Inko died. Hasashi killed Inko because he had thought Inko had fallen in love with another man and was cheating on him, when in reality no such thing had happened. He fell into a paranoid delusion, mostly due to a cursed spirit that was attached to his body, polluting his mind, kind of wanting him to taint his soul. Here's the thing, after such event, Izuku was able to see the cursed spirit, and when the cursed spirit tried to lunge at him, it kind of just went into Izuku's body. Izuku's body kind of shifted and twisted. But here's the thing. Izuku's spirit was stronger than the cursed spirit itself. This traumatic event in Izuku's will, he would have been, I'm not going to lie to you, he was 8 at the time this would have happened. So, Asashi kills Inko because of this cursed spirit, polluting his mind and thoughts, and just barely, he kills himself. From there, we have, unfortunately, the cursed spirit trying to possess Izuku fails, which, when it goes inside of Izuku's body, Izuku could feel it, and he rejected it out of his body right away. It hit the wall, but it was smaller. Some of its cursed energy kind of was absorbed by Izuku, unintentionally, of course, but hey, power's power. Speaking of which, Izuku from this point on would be able to see cursed spirits, and, well, he kind of kept it low profile because, seeing these creatures that kind of killed his spirit. It was kind of terrible for Izuku to go through the trauma of explaining to the police officers, it was a weird ghost thing that made my dad do it. Okay, this kid is delusional, send him away. Slowing down because I hit the yellow light. Ooh, that semi ran the red lights. Ooh, thank God I was not behind him. Well, I mean, in front of him, that would have been terrifying. Hilariously terrifying. Final destination! No, thank you. None. Nah. Anyway, back to the what if. Like I was saying, Izuku from this point on, after the age of 8, he kind of... It's weird. He's seeing things differently now. Like, now he could see cursed spirits, and his own cursed energy is a lot potent, actually. He's unintentionally learned how to, keep his emotions in check. He wasn't necessarily the most... Well, Izuku was always an emotional child, so we know. But he would see that his emotions kind of flare up with his power. He would try and do some research. Couldn't really find much, but... he figured out, okay, calm mind, calm emotions, source of negative emotions is this power. These weird things can jump into my body, but I can push them out if, my will is stronger and I can keep in control. But one day, one fateful day, Izuku is about 12. I'm not saying he's in an orphanage. It's not that. It's just, in a sense, he lives with a family of foster kids, but not that he's not neglected. He's just like, he keeps to himself. That would be the best way. He's reclusive. He's a shut-in. But one day, when he sees this weird fox creature, it's running through. It has 6 tails. That's weird. He realizes, no way, it's a kitsune. So he would go off and had to rush the yellow light. But in my defense, I was going 30 and a 35, so I went the extra 5 miles and I made it. So, conscience cleared. Back to the what if. Like I was saying, Izuku would see this fox and he would follow it. And yeah, it's a Shikigami. He's following it and he's surprised. He follows it and it's in a nest, not too far from where he lives. And he sees that, it's burrowing deep under this giant, oak tree. Do they have oak trees? I don't know if they have oak trees. If they don't have oak trees, then a giant ass tree, which, if it's not oak, then oh well. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can get the reference with the oak tree, so, hey. Anyway, back to the what if. Deku, he follows it in the kitsune, you can smell Izuku, and it gets on guard right away. It hasn't had its litter yet, but it's close. It's feeling it inside. Like, I don't know how to... It's pregnant, yes. And it's close to giving birth. And right now, it's just, like, in one of those states where it's, like, really tired and really hungry. And Izuku's just, like, he could feel that the Shikigami was, drained, exhausted. It was something he could do that, like, through time he picked up. But, by lightly focusing his cursed energy... He doesn't know it's cursed energy at the moment. But no... Yeah, he focuses his cursed energy and sends it outward in a calming motion. He did this with wild animals to, get them under control, which he didn't realize he was doing. And that's kind of why, Shikigami also kind of confused into him. He's a natural tamer, if you will. So, you see, from this point on, the kitsune would just, sniff Izuku's hand as, it's expelling cursed energy. And this is what's surprising Izuku. As it gets close and he's able to touch it, he can feel how much power, is required for it to live. And it does feel like it's on the verge of death, honestly. It feels like it's dying, almost trying to, accomplish a single goal. And that would be to give birth to, at least it's some of it. He could sense that there's more than just 6 babies, but... she doesn't have enough energy. He's converting the remaining of her life energy to try and at least give her children some hope. Izuku, he can't live such a thing. Even if they aren't necessarily, like, animals, they're still creatures that exist, right? They have things. Clearly he could see that this thing is being protective of its unborn children, and it's worried about how it's going to give birth to all of them. He can just sense it. He could feel the emotions and the intent of said creature. And, well, through that and that alone, it kind of allowed a, opening. This opening, it was unintentional because the kitsune fox understood that Izuku was there to help it. So as it, nuzzled its head into his palm, it kind of just got sucked up into Izuku. Izuku, rather than feel fear, it reminded him of the same sensation that had happened to him when he originally unlocked this power of his. Soon 7 tails sprouted from his back, his ears elongated and turned fox-like, his freckles grew whisker marks out of them, and what surprised him next is, he could sense everything. He could feel an abundance of power overflowing through him. Pausing because, it's time to pay a bill. I'm back. I paid my bill of $169 for utilities. Yes, it's a hilarious number. Anyway, expensive. Adulting. If you want to help out, I am trying to start up a Patreon, but don't worry about it. Tiers are simple. $1 donation.
$10 means you get your own What If idea. I read a 10 to 75 minute script. I'm like, you can add your own character, you can be yourself, whatever you want.
Okay, enough with the meat world impersonation. I'm continuing on. Like I said, Izuku in this What If, he feels the sudden surge of power, and it's weird. He had this mind meld, this soul synchronicity, and that's going to be the name of his jujutsu in a sense. And I couldn't think, that was something that I really wanted to like think of a name for, and the only thing I could think of is soul synchronicity that would allow, fusion at such a rate, which, it's an innate technique of his that, oh yes, I'm going to be abusing one day. Here's where things are going to be more fun, especially because Izuku doesn't feel his life force being drained, but he could feel his cursed energy being pulled from him and into this form. It's very taxing and draining. He focuses in the tails inside of his body and it suppresses the form. He looks human, and the fox stays dormant, like it's within him. Similar seal to without a seal. And it's strange. He could feel his soul, and then the soul of the kitsune, the Shinigami. It was weird. It's strange for him to house two souls. He could feel it deep within him, and it's like he could tag in and out if he wanted to, but it's kind of strange. He doesn't really know how to best explain it other than kind of, he would associate it to being able to switch out in a costume like a superhero. It was kind of weird. He didn't really know how to explain it. He would try to explain it to his foster brother and sisters, but they never really understood him. They thought he was insane, especially because of his trauma, but until he showed off his actual transformation. Once he showed off the transformation, it was GG's. They were like, whoa, how can you do such a thing? Izuku's just like, I don't know. The thing just aw, damn. I was hoping for a bakery to be open, but it was not open. So sadness. Sad fish. Okay, so different mission for pastries. Anyway, back to the What If, as yes, Izuku, he feels kind of conflicted in this timeline. He's gaining powers, but he wants to help people, but he doesn't know how to help people. But not many people believe he has these powers. And when he showed them off to his siblings, it was kind of weird. And the first person to react who thought it was kind of creepy was his foster sister, Momo. She thought, well, unique. It was rather alarming to see her, foster brother with tails and whiskers. What disturbed her most is not the fact that he looked beast-like, but rather the fact that how natural Izuku said it felt for him. Like almost as if he was about to abandon his humanity. That was her intake. Now, she apologizes if that's, if it comes off wrong to Izuku, but, he took it within kind. He realized, okay, the willingness might kind of throw people off. Okay, got it. His other sister, Ochako, was very worried about him, especially because, well, what happens to your body if you overuse this? Izuku kind of, he felt quiet. He didn't really know how to explain it other than, I kind of don't know. I got really tired last time. And, well, what? Did you die? No. I'm still here. How could I have died? And Chaco's just like, oh, right. Izuku then looks at her and saying, look, I don't know what the limits are to this power, but you gotta admit, it does mean something, right? Yes, the donut shop is open. Anyway, back to the What If, as, yes, Izuku looks at his siblings, and Ochako does express the concern of what this does to his physical body. Momo explains the loss of his humanity. Ochako explains the concern of the damage of his physical body if, this fusion of this. Okay, right now it's pregnant. What happens when it gives birth and you die? What if it's inside of you? Izuku's just like, no, 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 no. Like, soon the fox actually just jumps out. What surprises everyone is its tails went from 6 that Izuku told him, and Izuku was also surprised. They're now, perfectly 9 tails on its back, and it looks a lot healthier. Izuku, as soon as it left his body, even he felt, whoa, I feel light, a lot lighter. He would actually grab a dumbbell, let's say one of those 25 ones, from his brother Katsuki. Katsuki looked at him, not Katsuki, Katsuki. Katsuki would be the feminine version. My bad. Yes, his brother Katsuki looked at him weirdly. Hey, Deku, what are you doing with my weights? As Izuku, with one hand, would actually be able to crush the entire dumbbell as if it was like a piece of paper, or made out of paper mache, if you will. Which, everyone was just like, oh, this boy's strong. I thought. Okay, so Izuku, you want to help people, right? Yes. Okay, that is, very good. Bakugo would be like, hey, why would you want to help people? You have enough strength to pretty much be whatever you want, like, do whatever you want. Momo and Ochako look at him just like, hey, no, don't give him ideas. Which then his other brother, Fumikage, was it Tokuyama? Hold on. I got my donuts! I was sad that they didn't have Bear Claw, because I love Bear Claws. Bear Claws are my favorite donuts, next to the peanut butter long johns, which I didn't even ask if they had peanut butter long johns. I just went for glaze, because glaze default best. Yeah, sure, why not? If you basic, but Bear Claw. I love the cinnamon. And if you're allergic to cinnamon, then I'm sorry, but hey, not my problem. That means more Bear Claw for me. It's back to the what if anyway. Like I was saying, Izuku, he crunches up Katsuki's, dumbbell, and everyone was just surprised. The next person to speak up was the youngest brother of them all, the little baby brother, the one who really, was enamored by all this, the one who thought Izuku could be some sort of, superhero who could help people and save them. And that would be, I feel, it's because what I have planned for this person is going to be tragic. Okay, here you have our Mineta. This is who Mineta would be, Minoru, his first name. Now, he's like 6 years old, and he sees it as his brother now has superpowers. He could fuse with, this fox spirit, and the fox spirit is even stronger. It gave him super strength. He's supposed to help people. How could he not? But Izuku's just like, but how? How would I go by helping people? Which, you'll know soon, Deku. You'll know soon. Which, now, let us begin with how the interactions and the connections of said timeline would take place. Here you have a school where not the school, but the juvenile center where the cursed womb would have awoken. One thing is, key. Izuku's, father, he was working there, and Mineta was with him when the events are going to take place. So here comes said events. The cursed womb event. And yes, they do get slaughtered and massacred. So it's the woman who's asking for help. I'm changing it where it wasn't the same woman of the mother who is the guy who ran over, Rika in the, story. Spoiler if you didn't read the Jujutsu Kaisen pre-sit where it's about Yuta and his relation to Gojo, and oh my god, it was fucking lit. Shit, I'm excited because he's in manga. Anyway, back to the what if. Like I was saying, Izuku, he finds out that, okay, Jujutsu sorcerers, there are people here. And what's weird, he could see the fact that these people aren't normal. When he looked at Yuji in particular, he felt something similar. He was there and his mom was begging and pleading to get back her husband and the youngest, the child, the 6-year-old. And this is where Nobara and Megumi, I was about to say Fushiguro, no. Nobara and Megumi, they're looking like both panicked, the fact that, oh shit, it got more real, the fact that a child's involved. Oof, this is going to be very painful, very dangerous. We got to go with it. All right, then let's go. Itadori, they're all like on the, okay, we got to at least save the kid, right? I mean, if he's alive, which I doubt, being realistic here, sorry, not sorry, Megumi gets some shit by Itadori and all that, that would still happen, and Nobara would still get separated, and then the cursed spirit would proceed to wreck their shit. Now, what is happening on the outside is Izuku being able to feel the tremendous amount of spiritual power being released. I'm eating one of my donuts, not sorry. Pausing though. I'm back. I ate 2 of them. I probably should have gotten a drink too, because damn, now my throat is like triply fucked up. Like there was the mucus issue, now talking, which dries it out, and then the fact, oh, dead cat. Damn, that made me sad. And then the fact that I ate 2 donuts that, bread, no liquid, saliva, not enough. Anyway, back to the what if. As like I was saying, Izuku on the outside could feel the tremendous amount of power being released by that cursed spirit, which didn't leave him much. It was kind of weird too, because then he could also feel, other Shikigami, other wolves, like the wolves themselves, other spirits being summoned. So, hey, he knows there are other things, which means these people are like him, which means he can help, which means he knows how. Yes, that means he can help out here. He knew he could be useful one day. So he would summon Evie, or Eve. Nah, he just calls it Eve, female kitsune. Fusion up. He would go inside, go through the curtain and everything. Which, no. Recanting that. It would be at the moment where Fushiguro finds Nobara and dips out. So the curtain is really drawn down so they can drive away. And Megumi's waiting for Sukuna. Izuku would show up and see. No. When he comes back, he would come to the fight of Sukuna and Fushiguro. That's. Damn it, I rewrite shit so many times, it's so hard to keep track. Back to the what if, as, yes, the fight between Sukuna and Fushiguro is where Izuku, appears. Mostly because Fushiguro had just recently gotten his shit slapped. Recently after Orochi was destroyed and New was about to be, taken down, Izuku shows up, kicking Sukuna in the face, sending him back just ever so slightly. Izuku lands as, he's just like, whoa, what power? Can you stand? Megumi's just like, what are you doing here? Wait a minute, you're the kid from before in the front. Yeah, you're one of the people who went in, right? Question, did you see my little brother? What about my... He struggles with the word father. Megumi looks down and saying, no, I'm sorry, but they're dead. Izuku would, not say anything. There would be this silent, stoic moment. And then Sukuna bursts out with a laugh, saying, oh, you foolish human. Of course they die. What do you think would happen when a special grade is born here? Well, Izuku, not too thrilled with such, bullshit. There was a rise in his power. And I do mean a rise before, he foxed out. Where his cursed energy just skyrocketed. Matching Sukuna, actually. In his second finger form. Which surprises them. Sukuna's just like, yes! Oh, he's gonna be fun to fuck up. Well, it's not over there, because then Izuku's just like, okay, Eve, let's do this. As then 9 tails sprout out of Izuku's back. he glows, his cursed energy flows into his body. Unique patterns just along his body. Some lightning, fire, water, leaves, ice, weird intricate designs of, eyes and moons. Just an elaborate stuff all over his body, and his eyes are just glowing. He rushes forward to Sukuna, and Sukuna was not expecting this buff, because now he's actually stronger. Granted, this is not going to last long, but in the time being, it does last a good minute. You see, Sukuna would actually have to fight back. He's going blow for blow with Izuku, and Izuku, granted, he can't do as much physical damage opposed to Sukuna, and his hits, dear God, are they cracking Izuku's bones. Izuku would spit out blood, but when he spits out the blood, he spits it out at Sekuna's eyes, making sure he could blind him. He would use his tails to wrap around his arms and legs in these moments, pulling him into different directions, as he would then use this opening and throw a barrage or flurry of blows to Sekuna's midsection, trying to cripple or damage him. He sees that he's already missing a heart, so he's just like, okay, how the hell do you kill him? Because damn! He slams him down with all tails, sending him crashing into the ground. Sukuna, he chuckles as Izuku falls to a knee. He's panting heavily as now the tails distort. They're fading. He loses his fox mode. Sukuna was just like, interesting, brat. You actually damaged me for a little bit. He spits out some blood as, he's saying, all for naught. You won't survive this. As, he takes a step forward as he's saying, what the? Damn. His heart wound starts to bleed again. Blood comes out of his mouth. Fushiguro, he grabs Izuku by the shoulder, using him as support, as he's saying, Itadori! And then that whole live a long life spiel would still happen, but with the added benefit of Itadori thanking Izuku for, stopping him from killing his friend, Megumi. And, hey, that's actually a pretty cool trick you have. So, there's an open spot now that I'm gone. Okay, pausing because I have to go pay another bill. I am back and I paid the other bill. I hate paying bills. Back to the what if. As, yes, Izuku gets an endorsement from Itadori to pretty much, hey, I kind of fucked up. And, well, hey, there's a spot open. I kind of don't want to leave the two people I just met high and dry. A 3-man squad sounds lit as fuck, so do me a favor. Watch out for him. Izuku would nod, especially because he does want to help and use his powers. And, well, this is where things kind of get different. You see, Gojo would still be tasked with, doing his things with the higher-ups and the mission reports, and then they would go get Izuku. Izuku would say how, he can't go just yet because, the fox is going to give birth, and if the fox gives birth, he kind of has to wait a little bit. And, well, yeah, they're like, what do you mean you have to wait for the fox to give birth? He admits that he doesn't know what exactly, but he knows that once the fox gives birth, there'll be 9 other Eevees for him to, take care of. They look at him really weird, and by that I mean Sotaro Gojo and Fushiguro Megumi, mostly because they're like, why do you have to take care of him? I mean, I don't know, pausing. I am back. My friend caught me, and well, since this is going to be uploaded today, might as well admit it, yeah, February 24th is the day the Vibe Kage was born. I am now 24 years old, so golden birthday Golden birthday is when you turn the age of the day of the month you were born. So February 24th, when I turn 24, that is my golden birthday. So ta-da. That's not part of the story, but I'm back. They kind of forced me to eat some food with them, so hey, good shit. Anyway, back to the what if. As I was just dropping them one of them off. Now, if I remember correctly, like I was saying, Izuku, like, he's not leaving just yet. One, he has to bury his, foster brother and father, and then his siblings kind of, well, they're worried now, because the thing that killed their father and brother just, like, was a monster, and they're like, well, what the fuck can you do? What the fuck are you going to be able to do about it, bro? Like, it's a demon that killed them. And he's just like, it technically wasn't a demon. What was it? A cursed spirit. It sounds like a demon to me. I got like, I mean, it's not really a demon, bro. And, well, that's my younger sister. And the plan is to get Chinese food later when she's off school. Anyway, back to the what if. Yes, you see, Izuku, he's kind of conflicted. He's talking with his siblings, and, well, whether they like it or not, he is gonna go, because, one, he has a talent, or not a talent, but an ability to do something that not many people can do. Gojo and the principal have already interviewed him, but, yeah, that's the thing. You see, here's what's technically gonna, happen. You see, the fox spirit, Eve, that, is partnered with Izuku for so long, she's close to giving birth, so she goes back to the oak tree to, give birth to the foxes, her little kitsunes, her other miniature little baby ones, and she does. When, hold up. Yeah, when Kasumi Miwa, or Kasumi, if you will, she was, she was just running some errands for the principal of her school, getting a few things, when she would sense a spirit, just going through the house, traveling quick as fuck, and then disappearing. She would investigate, and when she senses how strong the fox spirit is, because keep in mind, she just gave birth, so right now she's very territorial, and she senses something with cursed energy approaching, so she flares up with rage and a defensive stance. So Kasumi's just like, alright, then fuck it, we battling. Izuku would sense the heightened, surge of cursed energy being displaced, and keep in mind, Eve is very tired after giving birth, and she only has one tail now, so drastically weaker. And Kasumi didn't even really need to, break a sweat. She does manage to impale Eve, right as, Kasumi was getting close to the oak tree, and when she noticed that the spirit was getting really defensive the closer she got to the oak tree, she figured, alright, then I gotta go to the oak tree. She would go try and fuck shit up, but, hey, Eve, impaled, she's going towards the oak tree, she's whimpering. When Kasumi, she's about to, do the finishing blow, she feels this weird mixture. She's just like, is this is a cursed spirit, so why am I hesitating? Nah. She's about to bring down her sword to cut it down, when all of a sudden a blast, just a pure curse energy would shoot out of nowhere, causing her to jump back. When Izuku comes in, he grabs his partner, Eve. He's holding the fox as it's dying. She's like, Eve, no, Eve, come on, God, heal. You can heal within me, just like normal. He would try, but nah, he could feel that Eve's cursed energy is pretty much just done, just over. As she's just dispersing into pure energy, her essence and remnants are turning into not fuel, but food and nourishment for her children. That it literally shows the curse energy just being sent towards the oak tree, and then out comes 9 little foxes. One that looks just like Eve, and then his siblings. A fire version, a lightning, a water, an ice, a grass, a shadow of darkness, a psychic one, if you will. Different versions. And then this pink frilly one, which that one is going to be our healer of positive energy, our fairy. So yeah, anyway, you have all these different versions of, oh shit, hey wait, I got a bone to pick with you, AT&T. Back to the what if. As yes, you see Izuku, the little foxes, they each are just like little, and I do mean like little pups. And Kasumi's just like, what the? She was about to like take a stance again. Izuku stands up towards her and saying, "You're not killing, her cubs. You already killed my partner." Here's the thing that surprises her is that she sees Izuku in outfits similar to hers, to some sorcerers. She looks and saying, "Wait, that button, that's And Izuku's just like, yes, I'm new to the Jujutsu Sorcerer tech in Tokyo. And she's just like, I'm from Kyoto. I'm sorry. As this is what surprises them all, is the 9 little foxlets, little cubs. They go towards Izuku, and they just kind of jump in on his legs, and Izuku's just like, whoa, hey, what are you? Rather than just like climbing, they're just kind of like entering his body, which he develops a tail, and he's just like, whoa, that's weird. That's a lot less curse energy than your mom had. Well, I mean, you guys are little ones. Oh, man. But then he realizes something. The curse energy that he got, the essence, it's different. I'm back and now I'm in my home. It's kind of cold. There's a breeze that's just like 20 degrees. Not fun at all. But as I was saying, you see, Izuku and Kasumi kind of have this weird, awkward moment right now. She kind of inadvertently just nerfed Deku. So they think. Well, yes, Deku does not have his partner, who was exhausted from childbirth. She actually was gonna die relatively soon, due to the fact, well, it took a lot more. Remember, she was putting in her life energy already into her foxes. So after they were born, they were already going to, drain the rest of her life energy. Which, sad, but true. She probably would have only been able to see them be like a few days, and then passed away. This, kind of rushed it, but they're slightly stronger now. But right now they're just going to be nurturing and resting within Izuku. Now, here's where things get interesting. The two exchange numbers. They actually get to talking. Izuku invites Kasumi back to the foster home, where, he's saying this is going to be someone who he goes to school with. Which, she chuckles and saying, oh, no, I go to the sister school in Kyoto. He's going to the Tokyo school. But there'll be a sister exchange event soon where they'll be competing against one another. They see the fact that she has a sword. And they're like, Izuku, you're gonna compete against someone with a sword? I mean, it's not that bad. It's looking kind of bad for you, Izuku. Now, overprotective, family aside, they're pretty much told when, knock knock, who's there? The sensei. The sensei who? The new sensei to Izuku. What do you mean? Nane? Back to the what if, sorry, I was getting something ready. I'm getting my food ready too. So, as I was saying, she explains they're going to be going to a sister event, and it's school versus school. And, well, there was a knock on the door. Izuku's new sensei, Gojo, appears, and he's saying, I'm here to take him. Huh? Sure. I guess I could go now. Gojo's saying, yeah, we're gonna need you, Izuku, to come with us. There's something the higher-ups wanna discuss with you. Izuku's kind of nervous, so he goes. Time skip a few hours. Izuku, he talks with them, and they're confused on what kind of ability this boy has, only for Gojo to, pretty much stay confused with ghosts. Not ghosts, Shikigami. And if his will is strong enough, he's the one with dominant personality of the fusion, then he uses their powers. He would also explain how the second year Kasumi Miwa had, taken his main partner, and now, 9 little fox heads appear from him as he makes it like he's cradling something, and then boom, their heads start to stick out as 9 little fox cubs are now in his arms as he's holding them. They're all like, what the? Where did they come from? Izuku's just like, they can rest inside my body. The foxes then go back in him, as then he's saying, ugh. His tail sprouts now, and now 3 tails form, and he's just like, whoa. I call it soul synchronicity. It's kind of strange. It's like having more than one person, and I'm not necessarily used to this, having many people. It's a little overwhelming. It kind of helps the fact that they're young, so there's not a lot of cursed energy, but when they grow up, it's going to be difficult. I am back. Anyway, my neck hurts. Fuck, my neck is stiff as shit. Back to the what if. I'm also gonna end this soon. Fucking hell. As I was saying, Izuku pretty much explains to the higher-ups he can fuse with Shikigami, and he can use their power as long as he's the dominant strain. Not dominant strain, but, dominant mental host. And since, these are little babies, chances are they're not going to be putting much up of a mental fight against him. So, yeah. They ask him what other curse abilities can he do. Izuku explains that, well, after a while of being fused with said cursed spirit or Shikigami, he would be able to do the same technique that they had, since, in a sense, it's being imprinted on his soul more and more. Every time they merge with him, he has to realize and channel the aspects of his own soul, which they look at him really weird when he talks like that, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, hold up. Okay, so now I have to go get some people to go give them a ride to their work, but I have the day off, which is funny. But hey, we'll be back. And we are back! I'm just left them off at Phoenix Restoration, so they just do construction, drywall, and repairs, and they just got in a call, so that's why they needed someone to drop them off, and I'm the good older brother, so of course I have my younger brother and his friends. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Now, back to the what if. You see, after Izuku explains his unique ability to kind of fuse with things, it's, on the fence on whether he could be a potential vessel for the Sukuna fingers, but, Gojo's just like, nah, we don't need to do that. We don't need to. There's no guarantee, and I don't want you guys to try it. Okay? Right now, we're going to train him up to be a Jujutsu Sorcerer, and there's just nothing you guys can, do to stop me. So Gojo would, take Izuku, and here's where one thing I'm gonna say. When Gojo would see that, Itadori's awake, he'd be like, just like, should he, introduce the two officially? Well, I mean, Gojo would actually toss a coin, and the coin toss had said that, yeah, do it. Why not? So, Gojo would, before he would let Izuku meet up with Megumi and Nobara and all the other ones, all of our other fun ones like Maki and Panda, and I forgot his name. The Curse Speak Jujutsu user. I forgot his name. Why? Why, brain? Why? Anyway, back to the what if. As, like I was saying, Izuku gets to meet them, and not only does he meet them, but, before he meets them, Gojo takes him, and, well, he meets Itadori, who he could have sworn had a hole in his chest, which was kind of confusing. He's just like, but, didn't you die? I was like 99% sure you had a gaping hole in your... And, Itadori has to explain the whole Sukuna finger thing, and, well, yeah, how he has this weird, creature inside of him that's just not the same as the way Izuku has his. In fact, he kind of wanted some tips, and also, Izuku, who doesn't really, it's weird, he has a good concept of cursed energy because it's fused with, the Shikigamis, and the Shikigami kind of, naturally, autopilots him sometimes. Well, it did. Anyway, from here, things would get slightly different in the sense that, well, you can hear the semis pulling up next to me. It's terrifying. Final destination! Oh, no! Back to the what if as... Yeah, you see, Izuku and Itadori would spend the next 2 days watching movies together, getting the whole control of Jujutsu and curse users and all this. And keep in mind, since Izuku already lost his foster brother, the principal, he's just not really gonna give him that much of a hard time, considering how, okay, he is out for blood, and he has a rare, unique ability, but he's keeping his soul for it, because he still wants to help and save people. So, yeah. Okay, you're allowed. Don't go too much into details about how nonchalant I'm making the principal right now. But, you see, Gojo... after a while of teaching them about the cursed energy and Jujutsu techniques, Izuku kind of is not enamored, but, awestruck of Itadori's just physical strength without cursed energy. It's matching him with max cursed energy output, which, hey, not fair. How are you this strong? Izuku's just like, wow. Itadori and Izuku, for the next month, they two get along really well. And they do a good, decent amount of training. Now, I'll say this is when the Junpei arc happens. So, yes, Izuku, rather than going with Itadori to, I guess, well, yeah, he doesn't go with Itadori to, with Nobara, Nanami, fuck, why was I forgetting one of my fairy characters' names? Hate myself. Yes, Izuku didn't go with Itadori and Nanami to check out the crime scene, but rather Izuku was sent off to go investigate something else. Oh shit, I sense a disturbance in the force. Back to the what if, as Izuku and Itadori, they go on separate paths here. You see, Izuku, on the other hand, is investigating Sukuna fingers. A rumor about a cult, the I believe they called it the finger holders. He wasn't entirely sure. No, he's just, he's meeting Nanami's assistant Ino instead. The two are investigating on their own path, finding out about this cult, designed to resurrect Sukuna at some point. Now, that's going to be for later. Events would still transpire with, Itadori and Junpei, becoming friends, becoming a movie buff nerd and all that. But one thing that would be different is when you have, I guess you could say, hold up, I'm gonna try and pop my neck. Nope, just pain jerking motion. Ow, that hurt. That just hurt like hell. Okay, I'm gonna just cover the mojito fight, and then we can go into the sister school exchange event in the next part. But you see, in the Junpei Itadori fight, what happens differently is, well, Izuku would be the backup that shows up when, Itadori is told by Nanami not to go do something reckless, but he goes do something reckless. Nanami tells him, okay, I want you to go back him up. We're going to go deal with this. Me and Ino, we're going to go deal with the transfigured humans. And we'll see where we go from there. So, yeah, Izuku is the other person who goes with Itadori. So, Itadori breaks through the door to stop, excuse me, Junpei and Moondred. And Moondred would launch its poison like normal. But here's what things is going to be different. Izuku, it's really weird because it didn't make sense to them, but these weird white tendrils appeared just, coming right off of his back. He would also gain what looked like to be, two tails, a silhouette of pink and white with, light blue ribbony patterns throughout the whole design of the fur. Now, during this, Izuku would place his hands over every single student who, had recently been hurt and injured and poisoned. He is slowly reversing and undoing the damage done by Junpei. And Junpei notices, wait, he's negating my poison. So he would try and rush towards Izuku, but, you have Itadori blocking the fight. Being the being the sword and the sword and the shield for Izuku, while Izuku plays medic. Fuck, I am fucking up my words. So, here's the thing: when Izuku gets to the point where everyone's healed, and you would have that one guy who was begging and pleading, being a real bitch about it, Izuku knocks him out with a single punch, just like, okay, yeah, no, but bah. And the teacher's just confused on, what are you guys doing? Izuku would grab him and, restrict his airway in a certain pattern and position that causes him to pass out within a few seconds. That man's now asleep, as Izuku now goes into a different tailed beast mode. It's strange. The tails form into three. These three tails each have a unique, distinct pattern. It's weird, like black and yellow, one with unique lunar circular patterns and moon crescent patterns. Fuck, I can't speak today. And then the other tail has this unique electrical, phenomenon around it. Very jolty and sparky with its fur pattern. It looks like it's been close to some loose wires or something. It's very frizzy. And then the other one, it has this unique pattern of red, black, yellow, and orange. I'll check which one it is. Nani? Huh. Part 3. Cool. I'm gonna watch it later. Anyway, back to the what if. Izuku, his other tail is a fire one. He has Flareon's tail, Jolteon's tail, and then Umbreon's tail. This three-tailed form of his. His ears elongate. He has claws and fangs. His eyes transform as he looks at Junpei and he's saying, "Look, I don't want to fight you, so please end this." As he just appears in sparks of electricity, appearing right behind Junpei, as he's saying "Thunder Wave." As the electricity coats Junpei, and it does crackle and look similar to the art style of how Demon Slayer's electricity for thunder breathing would look like, due to how similar Cursed Energy has that black outline and how it has that cool, color scheme to it. But that's not why we're here. Anyway, Junpei can't move, so Moondred, it tries to stab Izuku, but Izuku would launch a shadow blast from his mouth, hitting Moondred, pushing it back. And then what surprises him is then these black tentacles appear from Izuku's shadow. His tail would stab into his shadow, and then black tendrils appear, wrapping around Moondred and then pulling it deep within the shadows. And then his tail pulls out, and then, the Shikigami is now dead. Junpei would now have to summon another one. He can't feel Moondred, he can't summon Moondred. But he's just like, "What did you do? Moondred, no!" Itadori and Izuku are just like, "What's wrong?" Trying to understand him, and the whole, "My mother's dead. They killed her. I need to get revenge." The whole humans having a heart, and if they don't have a heart, then why did they curse him and his mom? In the whole sad boy spiel. But one of the unique differences here is when Mahito comes in and slaps both Izuku and Itadori towards the wall, he's confused about not Itadori, but Izuku. Just like, "Oh, what are you?" "You're entertaining." "It's as if you fused with your Shikigami." Izuku would unleash volts of electricity that damage, Mahito temporarily, causing him to let go of Izuku and Itadori. But he would still do the ideal transfiguration to Junpei, turning him to a monster. And Izuku tried to heal him, but nope, could not reverse the curse technique at the moment. He couldn't undo the soul, so Junpei would still die. Itadori's rage would engulf him, as his damage, his blows do damage to Izuku, not to Izuku, but to Mahito, and Izuku notices this. He's seeing how it's strange. Itadori's punches, the natural lag behind them, they can damage Mahito's soul, his soul. So that's it. You have to aim for his soul. Got it. So Izuku, understanding how to attack, would rush forward. Now this time, his tails did change colors yet again. This time it's just two simple ones. A light blue with, this aquatic fin-like texture, and then this other one, which is a slight silver blue mixture, with a light, I guess you could say, sleek design, very slender. The fur isn't very poofy, but very thin. Very chill and cool. As, Izuku would start to launch out water blasts, which, surprising them all. Which is like, how is he launching out water? And what happened to his weird form? Izuku would jump up as, Mahito caught lagging just ever so slightly, as Izuku would shoot out this weird white energy beam, aimed at the ground towards Mahito's feet, which freezes him in place. He tries to move, but he couldn't move his feet, like just rip it off, and he couldn't transfigure his feet just out of there naturally. It was as if that part of his soul was frozen. And I'm not talking about just the part of his feet. Now, back to the what if. As my brain was trying to make a joke, and I'm like mad at it right now. Sorry. As, yes, Itadori would show up, divergent fist, punching Mahito towards out the window. Izuku and Itadori just look at each other. They pant a little bit as Izuku falls to a knee as he reverts back down to his base form. He's saying, okay, I just need 3 minutes, and I should be good again. Till then, he takes a battle stance as cursed energy starts to radiate from his hands in a similar method that is with Itadori. But Izuku's hands are in an open claw-like motion. He's more in a downward stance, as if he was beast-like, not necessarily Yuji's, fighting brawler style in a sense. And yeah, the fight with Mahito ends a little bit differently because he has two people who can damage his soul now. Which, yes, he would launch out his transformed humans, and Izuku would kill them not knowing that they were once people, which, caused him to be caught lacking, so, Mahito would try and touch his soul only for Itadori to, push him out of the way. Mahito touch, Itadori. Mahito would smile as he's saying, foolish boy. But then, here's the thing. Since I'm making one thing different, I don't know if I covered it. Or if I kept it the same. No, anyway, what I'm saying here is Sukuna and Mahito didn't have their, precious laugh moment. And if I did say they had it, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. No, they didn't have that shared laugh. So, Sukuna was just more annoyed the fact that this guy just touched his soul. And is just like, nah, know your place. And, Yuji is the one who punches. Sukuna is just like, fuck you. So he would swing his hand forward, causing a gash mark to appear on Mahito's chest. A 3-line just gash, just, on the real world, just a huge gash mark appears, blood splurting everywhere. Mahito feels his cursed energy just being sprayed out of his own body. Izuku, just barely, he's forcing it at this point, so, yes, he turns into his Firefox form, launching out a giant fireball, burning Mahito right in his open wound, aiming for his soul, so he knows what to burn right now. So the blast does hit Mahito, causing him to, crash into the sewer. They're thinking it's over, because Mahito's just like, oh no, fuck all this noise. He goes in. Keep in mind, that means, at the moment, he's not using domain expansion, because, Nanami's not there. But this is where things get interesting. You see, now that Nanami arrives, he sees Izuku and Itadori. They're both panting. They're both kind of tired. You have a injured, or not as injured, but slightly injured Mahito due to Sukuna being the one who mostly fucked him up. Because he was not expecting Sukuna just to, gash his fucking soul like that. And then Izuku to burn him. Oh. Okay, kids. You want to play? Alright, then we'll fucking play. So, yeah, Mahito's pissed off. And, while Izuku would be going over to the Tokyo school so he can, meet the other Jujutsu sorcerers, he's told not to, explain that Itadori's alive because they want to do it as a surprise. Izuku, his eyes glowed purple for a second before he snaps his eyes open, and then he shakes his head no to Izuku, not to Izuku, but to Itadori, saying, not the right move, Chief. Not the right move. Nobara would not be happy. Which, Itadori's just like, huh? Yeah, no, she's gonna make you do something very fucked up, so, wait, how do you know? Gojo looks at Izuku, his eyes, are covered through the bandana, but he's just looking at Izuku, but he's just like, huh. So it seems you can now see the future. I mean, it's only because, the Espeon-looking fox evolution would stick its head out of Izuku's chest, through his shirt and everything, as then it looks at Gojo, and sniffs the ear towards where Gojo is, as he's saying, May, that's enough. as you know, it looks at him. It yips and then retreats back inside of him, which is just like, oh, that still feels weird. Gojo's just like, huh. So your curse techniques are actually from the Shikigami. And since they're inside of your soul, since you're housing them, Tell me, how do your body feel? I mean, it's okay. I have to train it a bit more, honestly. If not, I won't be able to use as many tails as I normally would. It's very different, too. Since they're actually different from their mom, the tails aren't as naturally synchronized. What I find weird is they each only have one tail still, too. But because of the elemental differences in properties, it's more taxing on my body than it was with his mom. And I was able to go to 9. Interesting. Gojo's just like, alright then, we're going. Yuji, you're going to be training. And that is where I'm ending it.